Go right ahead.
Hi, I'm Maureen Facine. This is our daughter,
Kelly.
And I'm Nathan Facine.
My nephew's friend Peter Wang was killed in the mass shooting at Douglas on February 14th. He was wearing his JROTC uniform and was seen holding the door open for others to get to safety when he was shot to death. I am also an MSD alumni. I graduated in 1998, so this tragedy has hit close to home for us. When we got the news about Peter, we sat our daughter Kelly down and told her what happened. We also told her that we will do everything we can to try to prevent this from happening again. A few hours later, Kelly decided that our family should come up with 17 ways to prevent this, one for each person that was killed. I promised my nephew, who lost his friend, that I would not just sit by and see what happens. I promised him that I will be right by his side to support him in every way that I can. I promised him that I will do what I can to make positive changes. I also promised him that I will educate myself on candidates and vote for those who will keep our kids safe. During the weeks following the shooting, while attending vigils, funerals, fundraisers, and taking a trip to Washington, D.C. with my nephew to join the March for Our Lives, we came up with our 17 ideas. We have allowed ourselves to be sad, angry, concerned, scared, and to even have happy moments, but we're not stopping there. We need to be proactive in making sure our daughter and all of the children and school employees in Palm Beach County are safe. Our daughter just turned 7 and is in 1st grade. She loves school, she loves to learn, she loves her amazing teacher, and she loves life. She just wants to feel safe when she goes to school. Kelly came up with quite a few of these ideas, and we would like to share all 17 of them with you now. Number 1, start a spread kindness program at every school. Each student makes a card for every classmate stating at least one positive thing about them. This should be done at least 3 times a year, beginning, middle, and end of the year. We experimented this with a group of elementary-age children outside of school. The kids loved receiving their cards, they left smiling, and at the same time, it made them all feel so proud that they made somebody else happy. Number 2, encourage teachers to spend a little bit of one-on-one time with elementary students at least once a week. Examples are sitting with a student at lunch, reading with a student alone, talking to a student at recess time to see what they have been up to, playing a board game with them during free time. Number 3, bring teachers' aides back to school, either a volunteer program or paid salary for elementary schools. This will allow more one-on-one interactions with kids. I volunteer in the classroom as often as the school allows me. I find that there are so many days that I'm not allowed to volunteer due to standardized testing going on in the other classrooms.
Mrs. Facine?
Yes.
Hi. I know this is a very delicate topic, but I want to be consistent, and your 3 minutes are up. So can we move on?
Yep. Number 4. Nathan Facine. Number 4, start a program like DARE that teaches kids when and how to repeat suspicious behaviors of peers or teachers. See something, say something. Number 5, start a huge advertising campaign telling Americans to be better parents. Put down electronic devices, spend time with children, eat dinner together, and exercise together. Parents, teach children manners and be available in all aspects for your children. Advertise on television, Facebook, magazines, newspapers, bus stops, and billboards. Number 6.
Go forward to 13. Go forward to 13.
Okay. Number 13, eliminate windows on classrooms, doors, or make them bulletproof. I know this would be an expensive endeavor. I think this is something that could be achieved by setting up fundraisers. Number 14, invent automatic shutters on all classroom windows. Now, this was one of my 1st grade daughter's ideas. Her current classroom consists of a wall of large windows. She said that when there's a code red drill, that the class splits up and she hides in a corner. But the windows are all visible to her, so she blocks her body and hides under the storage shelves to keep from being seen through the windows. We feel that this is not necessarily feasible and that a safe room in every classroom is necessary. A safe room would also keep the teacher with every student and not have one group without a teacher. Currently, our daughter is with one group without the teacher and is in a safe, and this is a fear for her. She would feel much safer hiding with her teacher. Number 15, stronger background checks for gun purchases with longer waiting periods to get approved. Number 16, raise the age to purchase a gun to 21 years old. And number 17, clip capacity on all guns. And then we're going to skip back over to Kelly with number 6.
Make it so that social media is required to report suspicious behaviors such as pictures of people with guns, knives, etc. Number 7, mandatory police officers stationed at every school, one per certain amount of students, maybe one per 500. My school doesn't have a police officer there every day. I have never met a police officer at my school in the past 2 years. Number 8, metal detectors at every point of entry at every school. This was one of my ideas, and it would make me feel safe. Number 9, mandatory photo ID for every student in every school that are scanned. Radio frequency IDs like used in sun passes. We don't have driver's license yet, so we should have a school ID. Number 10, live security cameras monitoring outside perimeter of school grounds with someone watching at all times. More mental health workers at each school. Counselors, psychiatrists, psychologists, and social workers. Mandatory meeting with students monthly. Number 12, create a police/student program involving every student. This will create better relationships with the police and students. And students will be more comfortable sharing information with them. Have the officer visit each classroom at least once a month, just for a few minutes to get to know the students and to give them a few safety tips. For example, bike safety, stranger safety, internet safety, water safety, weapons, etc.
And we'd like to thank you all for taking the time to listen to us, and thank you, Karen, as well.
Thank you so much. Next, we have Carl Muhammad, Will Romulus, Stephen Leary. Go right ahead.
Once again, I would say good evening, team players. And as we continue to look at the problems that are plaguing the school district of Palm Beach County, and we talk about quality education for all students, all of you up there on that dais know that there's a problem with African American students, because we as a school district for many years used to boast that we were A-rated, and then when we discovered that we were only graduating 27 or 22% of African American children. And this year we requested that possibly we might be able to get some kind of report showing how, with the new things that you did this year, that you were able to possibly move our children forward. But I would like to thank you, Mr. Fenoy, for taking control of the Superintendent Task Force for African American children, particularly the African American male. And I want to thank you too, Dr. Robinson, for giving us our focus back as it related to the idea of trying to help those who are on the bottom of your school district academic performance from our perspective. And I also would like to thank you guys for giving the community the opportunity to give some training to you as you give some training to us. And I'm hoping that the other school board members who I've been trying to encourage this entire school year, I'm hoping that you would take the opportunity to immerse yourself in that kind of love and respect that we're trying to get everybody to share. And as a constant reminder, we have the African American Summer Institute, the 24th annual, and it will be taking place June 18th through the 20th. And I'm hoping that as we move forward for next year, inside of my community, we're hoping and got great expectations, and we're looking at the idea of equity and access from a real perspective, because, you know, I just listened earlier as you guys received a national award. I'm hoping that we can continue the elevated place that we have taken as it related to the Florida Statute 1003.42, wherein that Palm Beach County was identified at once upon a time as an exemplary district. I'm hoping that we will continue to try to stay on that status and really move forward with trying to help the worst part of your system. And wanted to leave with that, but with hopes. I just want to remind you again, June the 18th through the 20th, we'll be having the infusion of the African and African American training. And we need your help to get some excitement this year, because it appears that we've been doing this for 24 years. And if I walk outside right now and ask anybody, do they know that the state of Florida passed that law, I guarantee you I have major problems in trying to get that kind of answer. And I thank you for your time. And Dr. Robinson, I believe this was the Black History moment for this evening. Y'all have a blessed day.
Mr. Romulus?
All right, good evening, board, Dr. Fenoy and Dr. Robinson. I really appreciate the time to introduce my grassroots nonprofit organization and the phenomenal thing that we're doing throughout Palm Beach County. The organization is Digital Vibes, where we're educating our communities through dance, fitness, technology, and arts. And as far as the art, we found this really cool way of tricking kids and families to do exercise. The way we do that is we bring in the DJ. We have a phenomenal dance crew and very high energy. And we bring in the lights to everybody. It's like a big party, but when it's all said and done, it's a workout. We host this event called Kids Fit Gymathon. We actually in the early planning stage of planning our 7th annual. Each year we do this event. We have over 3,000 that takes part of it. I wanted to take this time to invite the board to come out and take part of this event, just to be around with the kids. And we also have an award that we would like to present to the board. The reason why we do an award throughout that event is because all kids are in the receiving ends. For example, we host this huge throughout the county back to school bash where we're giving out all those great supplies to the students. So to all the kids, it's like it's free, but when it's all said and done, it's not free. Somebody paid for it. So we host this award where we're giving out awards to magic makers. I call it magic makers and so on and so forth, to let the students know that, hey, this was provided by, so and so, and this is the kind of thing that they're doing in the community, and, you have to pay it back and so on and so forth. So that's pretty much one of the reasons why we also give out an award. With this Kids Fit Gymathon, it's a huge fitness and wellness concert. We've been supported by Community Foundation, United Way, Prime Time, Quantum Foundation, and the school board. We have a majority of our students are from the different schools throughout Palm Beach County, and I think it would be a really great event to have our board to be a part of as well. And another thing that we're starting to do is to try to get the staffs from different schools to move. And I am glad that I have got that phone call from the school district that you guys are doing a huge event here next week where it's employees fitness and wellness, and we're going to be providing the high energy fitness gyms to it. So if you guys have time in your schedule, come out and join us, because it's going to be here next week, Wednesday, at the cafeteria. So thank you so much for the time. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Stephen Leary, Lisa Marmorato, Edwige Coriolan. Probably butchered the names, but no. Moving on, Karen Holm, Mary Gulimi, and Ginger Blankenship. Thank you. And while they're coming up, let me just let the board know that Digital Vibes was actually a featured performer at the Muse Awards this year. Outstanding. Mrs. Holmes?
Hi.
Hi.
I'm Karen Holm, president of For a Better Education. It's a nonprofit that advocates for students with disabilities. In honor of Mental Health Awareness Month, I'm asking all of you to please follow the directive of your proclamation that was made this evening and take action on mental health issues. According to your proclamation, 1 in 5 youth between the ages of 13 and 18 experience serious mental illnesses. And then there's these messages that I keep getting from my kids' school.
Let you know that after school today, a student reported graffiti in a bathroom wall that included a shooting threat to the school. The message.
I love Dr. Edgecombe, but I keep getting these messages from my kids' school. I think we've clearly identified the need. Now let's provide a remedy that actually works. Clearly, waiting until a student is so distressed that they act out doesn't work. Principals saying that they're going to pursue criminal charges on robocalls doesn't work. Instead of decreasing allocations to schools, please improve the staffing allocations to our schools. Please provide mental health counselors at our schools. I am very concerned that I was told by your staff earlier this week that it's simply too expensive to provide a counselor at each school, and I'm talking about a mental health counselor, not a school counselor. We must provide services to our kids based on need. Please provide an improved teacher-to-student ratio for special teachers and regular teachers. There are only good reasons to provide our students all these supports that they need. But just don't take my word for it. Go ask your teachers. Go ask your special teachers and regular teachers. Ask them, how are things going? And then ask them about your administration's proposed budget cuts, or what they call budget neutral money shifts, and ask them how it really affects our kids. Ask them if they have time to perform all of their duties that they should be performing for our kids. Ask them if they have time to get to know their students personally, so we can stop what these nice people talked about earlier. Our superintendent's strategic plan includes providing a positive and supportive school climate. It is vital to our students' success, like the NAMI lady said earlier. She said it is vital to our kids' educational success. Please, please, I'm begging in public, please let's provide that positive and supportive climate and fund our staff and teacher allocations accordingly for the best interest of our kids. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Mary, please tell me how to pronounce your name.
Belemi.
Belemi. Please go ahead.
My name is Mary Galemi, Palm Beach County resident. I'm here to talk about what's happening inside our schools. Our students are lost in the barrage of over-testing, political agendas, and stressed-out teachers where the priorities are anything but the students. Our children are mentally and emotionally beaten down from school. The fun and creative way of learning is dead. Instead, our schools feel more like a cult where children are forced to pray to the FSA test gods. I'm here to request, on behalf of my children and the children of Palm Beach County, that they are given the right to say no. Give these children the same liberties in the classrooms that we as adults are entitled to as American citizens. The death of public education in this state is happening right before our eyes, and it's taking our children down with it. The FSA frenzy is a year-long event. Everything is about test scores and teaching toward a test. Do you know in one of your schools students were being charged for FSA math booklets? Do you know it's unethical and illegal to charge a fee for required classroom texts? And when I asked about these illegal charges, I was lied to. I was told there was a suggested donation and not a fee. I would like to know how you're going to reimburse the parents who paid for these books. In essence, the school was using my child's classroom instruction time to create an FSA math prep course. This is an outrageous example of FSA first and not the student. Do you know teachers are giving out Gatorade and pretzels before FSA testing because, I quote the teacher, the sugar and salt are good for your brain? I never read that study that proves that theory, but if that's true, I highly suggest this teacher make those food items a daily part of her diet. Whatever it takes to squeeze another point out of a student, it's all madness. And no more quiet campus where during testing for weeks at a time, noise of any kind isn't allowed, and children have limited to no playground time. Imagine how our children feel spending their days in such joyless buildings. No more FSA pep rallies that celebrate tests that are developmentally inappropriate and are failing and hurting our children. These tests should be vilified and not celebrated like a birthday party. It's time to have an open and honest conversation about these concerns. I'd rather you say nothing than say, this is a legislative issue. This is about our children, your children. If you are an administrator, this fight just isn't for the parents in this community. You are our leaders, and we need you out there on the front lines with us, bringing these issues and concerns to the powers that be in this state. Make our children the priority. They are more important than any test score. Their education is in your hands. That's a huge responsibility, and please do not take that responsibility lightly. Use your position to make a difference in the lives of our children's education for the better. Thank you.
Thank you. I believe that Barbara Turimis will follow up with you. Some of the issues I think do require follow-up. Okay. And then we have Ginger Blankenship. Yes.
Hi. Thank you for allowing me to be here. Not really related to Don Blankenship, who you heard about in the news recently. I'm with Palm Beach Opt-Out. We are a group that are opposed to high-stakes testing. Our kids are more than a score. We will not sit back and be complacent anymore. I say to you, my child, our children are more than a score. Students, teachers, and schools deserve better. High-stakes testing is ruining our children's education, and the passion of our teachers is dwindling. We are the parents of children in Palm Beach County. We are Opt-Out Palm Beach County. We have united to take back our classrooms, return autonomy to the teachers, remove high stakes attached to testing, and insist on all for all children. I say to you, our kids are more to a score. When FSA test results come in after the school year is over, so they cannot be used to help teachers determine children's weaknesses and areas that they can focus on. When test results come in too late to be used for placement, so prior year test results that are a year and a half old are used instead. Our kids are more than a score. When there is no real passing score, tests are recalculated each year based on a bell curve with a built-in failure rate of over 30%. When children are sworn to secrecy from their own parents about FSA test content, when minor children are compelled to sign legal affidavits, when teachers cannot review test questions and questions are written so poorly that there's no right answer, only a better one, when there are trick questions and distractors, when very little teaching or learning occurs for days and weeks due to testing and testing prep, when teachers' bonuses are tied to children's performance on a single test, when high stakes prompt administrators to pressure, coerce, and bully children to perform well on these tests, when anxiety in our children is caused due to pressure to perform with the high stakes attached, when children's teachers and schools are being penalized by tests that are unscientifically proven. I say to you no more, we are more than a score. We believe forced high-stakes testing is not scientifically based and fails to follow the U.S. government's own data on learning. It fosters test-driven education that is not meeting the individual intellectual needs of students. It presents a racial and economic bias detrimental to second language students, impoverished students, and students of color. It violates fiscal fairness in funding schools, supports complicity of corporate interests rather than democracy based on public concerns. It fosters coercion over cooperation with regards to federal funding for public education. It promotes a culture of lying, cheating, and exploitation within the school community. It has used the achievement gap to foster a de facto segregation that has resulted in separate and unequal education for minorities. Thank you. Get used to seeing us Opt-Out Palm Beach County.
Thank you so much. Laura Paternoster and Don Person. Demolishing these names.
Looks like a problem.
Go right ahead.
Thank you. Don Pearson. I'm a proud teacher at Palm Beach Central High School, and we're all proud of Gabby and what she's done all year. So I just wanted to say that. What I was going to speak about tonight, I got some new information, so I have to make sure I have it all right, so I'm not going to do that. But what I wanted to speak to as I'm listening to the other speakers, I am an algebra teacher that's in that testing environment. And what the parents are saying, a lot of it is true, and we know that, and we all try to combat it and try to make it do the best we can with it, but we all have the kids' interest at heart, but it is detrimental in a lot of different ways. And my best analogy would be, if this system right now take the best 100 minds living or past, Aristotle, Einstein, all of the greatest minds you can think of, and you put them in the environment we're in, we're going to have to call about, a third of them failures. That's what we don't test against a test, we test against kids. And that's why, and what parents don't know, and I can say this because it's public information and I'm a parent, and I spoke in Tallahassee about this very thing. When the tests are taken, they know the results right away, but they wait until the summer. And then they give us the curve. And the curve they give us, the curve last year, was 0 to 34% was failing. 35% to 41%, let's call that a D. 42% to 61%, let's call that a C. 62% to 75% is a B, and anything over 75% is an A. The problem with that is my 9th grade student who really has a D, barely got a D with a 62, is allowed to walk around thinking, hey, I'm a B student, which means he's going to operate at that level, and then all of a sudden he becomes a junior, which is like that. He takes the SAT, and his dreams are crushed because he goes, wait, I'm not strong enough to get into the school I wanted to get into. And I equate that with take the best football player, high school football player in the country, no doubt, and say, you're that good, we're going to put you on a pro team. You will crush that kid because he's not ready for that. We do not get our kids ready. And just real quick about the prop, this hasn't happened to me until just now, yesterday. My foot swelled up. I went to the doctor. They gave me a prescription, and it's the first time my insurance said we don't cover that. And they're still trying to find out when to cover. So in light of a Teacher Appreciation Week, I'd appreciate it if you'd prove that. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Let's go back to the names previously called: Stephen Leary, Lisa Marmorato, Edwige Coriolan, or Laura Paternoster. No? So I think that brings us to the end of the agenda. Is there a motion to Mrs. Brill, second by Mrs. Whitfield? Anybody against adjourning? All right. It's unanimous to adjourn. Thank you.